YouTubers, Paul here, just making a quick video to capture a few landmarks in downtown Tempe, Arizona. This is roughly at the corner of 2nd and Mill Avenue, and you see there the Hayden Flour Mill, an iconic structure. I'll get into more details about that, but first I'm going to quickly go do a little walk by Monti's La Casa Vieja, which was until earlier this year quite a popular restaurant in Tempe. What I've experienced in my short time on Earth is that all too often very cool landmarks end up being replaced for the sake of development, commercial development, and then down the road people reference a landmark, and the younger generations or people who are moving into an area have no reference of what they're talking about. So I'm going to do a quick walk around. I'm on the back side of Monti, so nothing really exciting to see here. But as you can see, it's a building that is dated quite a bit. I did not bother to look up the date that it was built or anything like that. And we'll probably do that once I get done and with the video and post it, and then just put that in the description. But at any rate, you can see that it's obviously been here for a while. It's kind of looks like an Adobe style architecture. You can see that the sign up here, Monti's, is pretty weather beaten and aged. And actually, so we know for a fact that this building is going to be torn down soon, probably in the next year or two. By the way, I'm coming to you in August of 2015. And anyway, I bet that sign right there would fetch some good money in an auction if they decided to auction it up when they close the place, or when they tear the place down. So here you can see the back entry areas where presumably they brought in the raw materials, the food and beverages from the suppliers. And here we're now at the corner of 2nd and Mill Avenue, and you can see what's happening is modern development is starting to encroach towards the south. This, until about 6 months ago, was a very nice, very luxurious patio. You can see still the misters up there, the nice tent fabrics there for shade. And at lunchtime here in downtown Tempe, this place was often quite full with people, definitely in the evenings too. Pausing at some of the noise of vehicles go on by. But so this says here, the site of Hayden's Ferry, 1,200 feet northeast of this marker, established in 1871 when the Salt River was a flowing stream and a barrier to travel. The ferry was held on course by a wire cable towed across the river. It was an important link in settling the Southwest, built and operated by Charles Trumbull Hayden. So there we're seeing that Hayden evidently was a mover and a shaker in Tempe some time ago. This says La Casa Vieja was built in 1971, and it was the Hayden home. Okay, so this restaurant that we just walked around apparently was the Hayden home. Actually, there's a sign over here talking about the Hayden house. Constructed in 1874, Tempe founder Charles Trumbull Hayden built a house of willow poles on this site in 1871 and erected an adobe home, store, and blacksmith shop during the next 2 years. He married Sally Davis in Visalia, California, and brought her here in 1876. Their son Carl, who served in the U.S. Congress for 57 years, was born here in 1877. Tempe's oldest building, which later housed the Hayden Hotel and Monti's Casa Vieja restaurant, was once a rallying place for Sally Hayden's Tempe suffragettes. So you've got a little depiction of the ferry that used to come across the Salt River. And again, another great look at the architecture here. So all the research I said I was going to do, I'm not going to have to do now because the signs are covering it for us. I'm not going to bother reading all this, but some sort of a monument. I'm just trying to quickly scan and see what they're referring to with this monument. So So anyway, that is the historic Monti's restaurant. I'm going to walk across the street over here to the flour mill, Hayden Flour Mill. I've seen articles already in the news indicating that this building is slated to be demolished. They didn't say exactly when, but I think it's probably as soon as the city council gets the appropriate funds from the developer to vote yes, based on my experiences with city development. And yes, I am a little bit cynical. You're listening to a guy whose home was purchased forcibly by the city. This was the first home I bought when I was in my 20s, and it was purchased so that development could occur. So I'm a little bit jaded, rightfully so in that respect. So at any rate, I guess I'm going to pause here for a second. A couple of other interesting things to note here. Currently, the street here is called Mill Avenue, and this used to be this whole strip to the south of us for about close to a mile. It's called the Mill Ave Business District. It was recently rebranded as Downtown Tempe, and I think the relevance there is that once the mill is gone, obviously it won't make sense to call it the Mill Ave District. Airplane going overhead, getting ready to land at Sky Harbor Airport, so I'll repeat that. The Mill Avenue District was named because of this mill right here, the Hayden Mill. And after the mill is gone itself, begs the question whether or not they'll still want to call this Mill Ave even. My hunch is that the name of the street won't change, but the shopping district down here, the entertainment district, has already changed. Here's a look from across the street at Monti's. Once again, an iconic building that at one point, according to the signs, was a homestead for the Hayden family. And this is the flour mill, Hayden Flour Mill in downtown Tempe. And I know for a lot of people, you're probably saying, oh, what an eyesore, let's just demolish it right now. Myself, I have roots in the Midwest, in Nebraska, and mills like this one. Now, we didn't have flour mills, but grain silos that look very much like this. We're about the only skyscrapers that we had, so we kind of grew attached to them. And also knowing how much knowing how important buildings like this are or were to the agricultural economy. It's very, it's kind of a sentimental thing, but you can see inside a little bit of the mill, Hayden Mill. Take a walk around over here. Just trying to give you a view through the bars on the windows. Evidently some of the people that worked here at one time, I guess. Another interesting look. I don't know what the hole in the wall up there is all about. So continue on. Looks like we've made it to the heart of the building here. Some interesting machines here. These almost look like presses or lathes of some sort. Not sure exactly what these machines were used for, but one of the scrap yards in the Phoenix area is probably going to be seeing a lot of this equipment in the near future. Some modern artwork. Here's an interesting one. Okay, so 1874 flour mill to the left was the first mill on this site. It was built in 1874 of adobe block. The sacks were stored and loaded on horse-drawn wagons from the second floor. That's interesting too to see running water back at that time, because we definitely don't have any running water around this area right now. And it could be because of the Tempe Town Lake Dam that was built on the Salt River and dammed it up, stopped the flow of the water. Maybe I'll do another video sometime on the Tempe Town Lake. So here's another gander at the flour mill from the ground level. You see how tall it is. Probably a good 100 to 125 feet, I'm just guessing. Unfortunately, in recent years, this area right around here, especially right up over that ridge and then over between here and the little hill over there that you see, known as A Hill by the locals and the students, has become a spot where homeless people tend to congregate. And this little patch of grass right here, I don't think it's happening now, but last summer they hosted afternoon, like 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, a wellness series where you could come over here and do yoga, a variety of different like HIIT workouts and things like that, led by, as far as I know, volunteer trainers who basically worked on a tip-only basis. So, by the way, just catty corner underneath that banner over there. I should have showed this from the Monti's entrance, but in fact you can kind of see it too. There's a couple people walking through the little archway over there. That is the Tempe Beach Park. Beach is a little bit deceiving because there's no actual sand over there. It's just, I guess, the waterfront, so they chose to call it a beach instead of shore or waterfront, what have you. But anyway, that's a very popular place for different festivals and concerts and things like that in the Tempe area. So pretty much rounds out this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed this view of the historic Monti's restaurant and the Hayden Flour Mill in downtown Tempe, Arizona. Ciao.